Let's complete this cash budgeting table. So we have to do a scenario analysis about the placement of this capital budgeting. Okay, so you have a major capital investment that cost $200,000. In the current context, is placed in July. All right, and you could have placed in different months, such as June, August, or September. In each month, you would have different result. So what is the part of the result you care the most? You want to know the amount of borrowing here, and you want to create this variable called a total borrowing somewhere, and the total borrowing basically is a summation of all the borrowings in this individual month. So if you put a total, if you put the capital investment in July, let me cut and paste. So here's $200,000 spent in July, and then they're gonna create a big cash shortage, and you have to borrow a lot. All right, and that's basically double your total borrowing, and that makes your situation worse. And you can put in August and see what your total borrowing is, or put it in September and see what your total borrowing is. Okay, so you want to change the setting of this for sales. Okay, under each scenario, the value of the four cells may be different, and ultimately, you want to observe total borrowing. Okay, so that is our purpose. You want to do the what-if analysis of the scenario manager. And before you do that, I want you guys to do some naming job. Okay, so you want to name these cells. Okay, otherwise the Excel will recognize this cell as D15. This would be E15. This would be F15. And on the scenario manager, it doesn't look very nice, and it's not very descriptive. Okay, so when you hit this cell, instead of having a D15 as its name, I want you to go to the name bar and type June. Okay, type June. So you named it as June. And for this one, name it as July. Okay, name it as July. And for this one, name it as August. As you can see, I have already named them. I can just pick another one to name it as an example. So for this cell, right now, Excel recognizes its name as a B20, and I want to name it as a minimum cash. Okay, minimum cash. Okay, and I can put another one. So for example, this cell in April. Okay, you don't have to do this. I'm just showing you how to name cells. Okay, so the bottom line is you have to name all these four cells, okay, according to their month. And then you also need to name this one, the total borrowing. Just use this name, total borrowing, and make sure you have an underscore in between two words, because Excel does not recognize space; it only recognizes underscore. Okay, and now let's do the scenario manager. So you do what if analysis, you hit scenario manager. So let me delete my previous settings. Okay, so this is basically what you're gonna see. You wanna add one scenario. Okay, this scenario we call it placement in June. All right, and then you want to change the setting of the four cells. Okay, hit OK, and then for this cell, which you named as a June, D15. In this scenario, you want to put it as 200,000, and all the rest as zeros. Okay, you spend the money in June, not in any other month. And then you add the second scenario. The name of it, let's put it as a placement in July. Okay, still by changing the same four cells, and this time you want to maintain the zeros for August and September. You want to put 200,000 to in July, and you want to change the number in June back to 0. Okay, and you need to keep adding placement in September, the placement in August by changing the numbers of these four cells. Okay, and I will leave that for you guys to do. Okay, this is an assignment. You have to do something by yourself. All right, so let me just do the scenario manager by only having two scenarios. The last step is to do the summary. I want to hit this summary, and I want to observe my B22, which is the total borrowing, as you named it. Okay, so after I hit OK, this is my table generated by Excel. So the current values under the description of the context is that my capital investment is placed in July, and that's my total borrowing. And then if I put my investment in June, okay, then my total borrowing would double, okay? And if I put in July, so it's basically my current setting. And your job is to create a placement in August right here, okay? And then record the total borrowing here, and also the placement in September and record the total borrowing. Now definitely the numbers of the four sales is going to be different for these two columns of scenarios.